afternoon, and it's Thursday afternoon, and it's the day after I visited the CIPD L&D show, and I wanted to do a little bit of reflecting on my experience of this year's show. As I only had one day at the event, I wanted to really make good use of the time there. So I picked out quite carefully which sessions I was going to attend in the free exhibition, and really took care to avoid the obvious sales pitches. And I'm really pleased with the 4 sessions that I attended and which I sketch noted. And then I also had some good conversations with people on stands, and again took care picking those out. As usual, I was sketchnoting at the event. This is one of the sketch notes I did. What was interesting was the extent to which it acted as an icebreaker, and I got into all sorts of conversations with the people sat either side of me and behind me about sketchnoting, and also about the session that we just participated in. So that was really fascinating. Conversations I had actually came about because somebody recognised my sketch note and realised that they followed me on Twitter, and then we got into a great conversation about, they work for a financial services organisation. Compliance was a big issue, and we got into a really interesting conversation about how he was trying to change the way that they approached compliance training to make it much more relevant, to make it much more impactful, not doing away with using e-learning, but actually building on that, turning it into much more of a campaign. Fascinating conversation. I'm trying to work out how I could tap into that and make use of it in relation to CIPD Manchester and the L&D work there. I wanted to talk about the session I attended about the neuroscience of learning, which was an interview with Daniel Glazer, who had been a presenter in the main conference. I really liked his session because he was just so realistic about the limitations of the current level of neuroscience, and actually how very little there is that can be taken at the moment and practically applied in learning and development. So I think that for me was a breath of fresh air. That had a really great impact on me was this one by Ben Betts, and you can see the sketch note. I'm going to put in a link to my blog. This session was about on how you can measure training impact, and it was by Ben Betts from HT2 Labs. He talked through 2 case studies of their experience of doing that with clients, and I thought they were very interesting case studies. One was about using big data to analyse the impact, looking at data points both from learning and other data points from performance, and showing a real impact on sales. The other case study was perhaps even more impressive. It was really looking at how they have analysed conversations within a course created in Curator, which is their piece of software, and how they've analysed those conversations to see whether they're learning. Particularly interesting in that second case study was the way that they were using semantic analysis to review the conversations that were being held about the resources that were being curated in the programme that was being examined. And they were looking at the extent to which participants were not just chit-chatting, but actually showing critical thinking, social presence, and application in their real work. And to do that semantic analysis, HT2 Labs made use of an algorithm and machine learning, and trained it to be able to do that piece of analysis. So I thought that was a really interesting approach.